the importance of feedback. A scheme to ensure accurate feedback increases the chance of success in deception. The above principle is logically virtually self-evident. Such an idea has evolved independently in many disciplines. It pervades most of control theory, has a counterpart termed the value of perfect information in decision theory, and is a central idea in the theory of games, particularly extended games. As comebacks, it is a British contribution to the jargon of the espionage covert action trade. Perhaps the most dramatic example of the role of feedback in wartime deception was the intelligence provided by Ultra, the top secret espionage and cryptographic breakthrough that enabled the British to read the German codes. In the view of many, Ultra information was a key element in the success of the Allied invasion of Normandy. As Lewin remarked, Colonel John Bevan, head of LCS, and Lieutenant Colonel T.A. Robertson, head of BIA section of MI5, have jointly testified to the author that without Ultra, the great web of deception spun around the Germans could never have been devised. Yet without their efforts, Overlord might have been a disaster. Even at the simplest operational level, feedback answers the question, is anybody listening? Is this channel effective? A sine qua non to the design of effective deception is, it is an interesting footnote to the overall success of the Allied D-Day deceptions that those directed at Norway were not successful, according to Kahn. Most of the energetic Allied radio deception in the north of Britain to simulate the preparations of an invasion force went unheard by the Germans. The reason seemed to be that not one of the radio reconnaissance units of the German 20th Army occupying Norway was paying the least bit of attention. All were far away in Finland, facing east and listening hard to the Russians. The consequence was that Rowan concluded that any landings in Norway would be secondary. Meyer Dietrich concurred. Hitler believed the same thing, since he thought the main invasion would come in France. Yet he never withdrew a single soldier from Norway to oppose this main assault. Why? Because it was his zone of destiny in the war, owing to his ability to protect his shipments of Finnish nickel ore, his northern flank, and his U-boat departures. But Allied deception had nothing to do with all this. Hitler kept major forces in Norway entirely on his own volition. This is an interesting example of how deceptions can seem to fail yet succeed. In practical terms, such misinterpretations of our observed response, or lack thereof, often result from less than perfect understanding and modeling of the deception target. Ironically, the Allies knew through Ultra that German troops remained in Norway and concluded on the basis of this feedback that the deception was successful, as Lewin noted. On Sherlock Holmes' famous principle about the importance of the dog that did not bark in the night, the significant fact for the deceivers in London was that no such major movement of troops from Norway was disclosed on Ultra up to and beyond the time of D-Day. Here was clinching evidence that the deception plans were working. Evidence consistent with the hypothesis may also be consistent with other views. Where have you read this before?